thought I only had 60 seconds on here, but it seems to be still recording. This is a very nice book I can recommend to people because it basically shows the basic way of life to do with native people living in what we call now Americas. Of course, it had different names in the past. And these people, they just lived a lovely life here in the beautiful forests and beautiful nature. And amazing thing is, I found this book, it was like chucked out of the library. And I actually was on my way to Colombia some years ago. I spent some times in Peru where I was a teacher at a school. And the interesting thing was, they described this bit of history here from the school, from when they were colonized. And of course, those were very different times, but it sort of set the kind of stage, didn't it, for, what society we live in today, maybe. And I would just like to get consensus on this because, the way people lived or live today in some places is actually very, very, pleasant because preparing food by fire is actually quite a nice experience. And, having the foods and, preparing the foods and sitting in nice groups like this, coming together for a gathering, for some food. I think that's what's important in human life, and I tried technology. I've been working with technology all of my sort of adult life, really. I've been into photography, music, especially the drums. I've got sort of a drum kit. There's like, now with technology, I mean, this is great. This is like 500 different types of sounds here. Anyway. So we now have a trial based upon the ruling of this kingdom. These men have been judged to have done something criminal and now shall be executed. In the name of the Queen or the King or the fuck knows who what, may it so be. Or the Pope or the Church. Fuck you and fuck off. Excuse my French, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but I made sure that I was not, well, I made sure it was not for children, so I hope you adults here can take a few of my French words. I should refrain from outbursts like this, and I apologize for my emotions. But I do have some very strong emotions about these topics. I come from a family, from a Swiss family, Schweizer. This is Vereini Schweizer, and Christine, it's my mother. And the writing above says confirmation Verena Hari. So that was her maiden name, Hari, before she became a Schweitzer. Now, I'm sort of guessing her age, maybe what, 4 years, well, 3 years old, maybe. What do you think? Maybe 4, yeah, 4, maybe. Anyway, it doesn't. I've not been able to confirm this. It's funny, confirmation, because don't you find it a bit young to say, I can confirm I'm part of this religion, a religion that has, in the name of Jesus Christ, slaughtered, killed, maimed, destroyed, taken taxes, earned a lot of wealth, still has a lot of wealth today. And when you knock on their doors in Rome, as I know a lady did, she wasn't really welcomed with open arms. She wasn't really offered any food or water to drink. Anyway, we won't go into too much of that. But my question is here, to have at that younger age, to swear allegiance to a faith when you don't even know the alphabet, you can't count to 100, and you don't really know much about this world. Is that how we do this in the West? Is that the church indoctrination of getting the flock to follow a certain narrative? Bless these children, may they be blessed, may they live forever and live a happy life. But of course, no. They were told, the good thing is in our society is to get married. I won't even suggest that. I won't mention any names because of all sorts of legal reasons. But one of the girls that I know, she was raped, and she's never reported it. Anyway, we quickly move on from there. So it's a very delicate subject, I know. I'd like to, offer you like music, because this is where we express ourselves, surely. No, that's not working for me at all. I would like some more people to play music with me. And I was thinking it would be possible on maybe one of these platforms to go live. And, any musician who would like to come and join into the session could come in, because the more sort of varieties we have, the more ideas we have, the nicer the music seems to, sort of come together. Anyway, I'm not one of these musicians that can just sit and play on my own some melody that you shout out. I don't do that. Anyway, other controversial issues. Pollution. I read in my human rights, which, like one of the new parties in England, they claim, Farage, He claims to sort of have new ways and so on. He wants to take away human rights, and don't agree with that. One of my, I believe, human rights is to have fresh air or clean air. Now I know, I've been on airplanes and I've been on boats and I've sailed and flown across oceans. So, but today's pollution amount is absolutely horrendous. And yeah, we could say, well, if we don't do something about it soon, there'll be consequences. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if today what we're living in, I find the weather great at the moment. It's been lovely and warm. When my plants have needed some water, I've had obviously a water supply, so I've been able to water them. Now, crikey, I've read that in the UK there's been like hose pipe bans, and people aren't allowed to wash. Well, I agree people shouldn't wash their cars. Maybe we could go that far. I think that's a good thing, to save water. But, not to be able to water their plants in their garden, to be in fear of being, having police on your doorstep because the neighbor rats on you because they've seen you sprinkle your tomato plants with water. Well, I see potential dangers here for huge manipulation, and I'm just questioning, what's our human rights with the water issue, guys? I mean, the water's been privatized. I'm just getting a message. Yeah, thank you. Bob, yeah, Bob, thanks for that. Yeah, the water's been privatized, which means what? We've got to pay for it. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, hold on. Let me just read my statement here. Yeah, let's look at the small print. Oh, now that's very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. That small print on the back there. Yep, there it shows us that water was privatized. Well, I voted for Margaret Thatcher. I used to vote at those, in those times. And the problem is, I'm going to do a bit of a ceremony now. Excuse me for my interrupting this program. I know, so many of you are just waiting for revelations and new ideas. Be patient. It will come. Now, those who would like to argue with me right now or follow a discussion with me about artificial intelligence, I've had a big fallout today with my chat GTP. I called it a very bad name, the C name, and I said, right, that's it. I'm not going to use you anymore. Well, I'm serious about it, because I had this idea, and maybe you'll bear with me on this because, I've been working with IT for now, the last 25, 30 years of my life. I was one with the first bloody phone. I was one with the first fucking laptop. I was one of the first with all the, bits and bobs that I thought was good technology. And I mastered it, I thought. But now comes AI and says, I can do that. And great, wonderful. So I've given it a few tasks. So today I gave it a task. Hi, ChatGTP. Please, could you help me with something? Yes, Eric, of course I could. What can I help you with? Right. I would like to offer this certificate to certain people that I feel deserve recognition. And I'd like to offer them like a professor, like an honorary title as doctor or professor at my school. And okay, I've obviously nicked one of the famous schools in Switzerland, or actually in the world. And I'm a Harry Potter fan, so what can I say? You know, I've read the books, I've been there, I've anyway. I've got a daughter. Well, I have a stepdaughter, Philomena. She's actually flown the Nimbus 2014. So just to sort of lay that foundation a little bit, you know. And oh yeah, she did. Yeah, she was going. I had it. I saw her. I've got a witness. Actually, there's children. I don't know if they count as witnesses, like because they're underage. But I've got witnesses that can say Philomena was on a broom and she flew through the room on a broom. You could do a rap on that. That rhymes. She threw on a broom through the room. So, and anyway, and I just thought it was quite interesting that now, you know, I've actually opened up a school. Oh, there's so many people now. I can't keep up with the chats. You got to slow down a little bit. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He went to bed and bumped his head, and he couldn't get up in the morning. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man went out to play snooker. He had a skinful. He came back home. He bumped his head and he couldn't get up until in the morning. Yeah, we should do some newer version of these old songs because I know some of the lyrics from the old stuff, you know. So any musicians out there, I've got a guitar as well. You know, that sounds like pretty bloody pretentious of me, doesn't it? But having said that, hold on, I've got an incoming here. Oh. Yeah, sorry, that was actually intended for my dad because we've had this dialogue afternoon, and you know, I sent him some of those pictures I sent you, and he sort of came back saying that's not a job for one man. You need two guys to do that, and I've moved so many of those, you know, things around. So he then went on to explain. He like for I don't know how long, maybe a year. He said he was working as a removal man in London, you know, and actually going all over the country, obviously, you know, moving people with all their furniture. So I said, oh, you should write that down. You know, maybe your memories, you know, from those. I'm sure you've had some funny, you know, stories to tell. And he said, well, maybe. And then I was going to record him that message. Well, I recorded him that message saying that, well, he could use AI to actually just, you know, take the information up and then produce a form where he could just print it off or, you know, sort of store it on the Word document. Yeah, yeah. Sorry that I sounded, you know, angry, but yes, I don't know what it is. I'm sort of obviously having problems and issues with accepting that being the way I am. Being told by something that calls itself intelligence and having resources and access to huge amounts of data in speeds we just cannot actually imagine. And I'm told I've got to wait between 24 and 48 hours to produce a flyer. No, actually not a flyer, but I asked it to produce a certificate that I wanted to send to some of the people that I'm in touch with, who I feel are just really great people. Their work I follow on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, wherever I see them. I would like to offer them like an honorary. I know, it's just a stupid idea. You can call me crazy. I'm a fucked up old man. Call me what you want. I don't really care, but I just have this idea, and I just feel like I should be able to. That's how I feel my human rights is. If anyone feels I'm not entitled to that, I will separate myself from that individual, or from that group, or from that company, or from that country, or from that race, or from that whatever it defines itself to be, and never, ever go there again. Never say never, boy. Because that I see to be my human right. Call me aggressive, call me a bit exaggerated, call me a bit annoyed, call me angry, whatever you want to call me, label me. I don't give a shit. I feel the way I feel. I want to do what I like to do, and wherever I go with this, I feel I'm blocked. I feel I'm restricted. Money, give me money. And I've asked ChatGPT, is it an issue of money? No comment. They didn't even reply to that question. Because I went so far to look, how much it would cost, like 50 francs a year for chat membership. And I was asking, I said, well, don't you think, 24 to 48 hours to produce a certificate. I can do that within 20 minutes. Maybe half an hour. Give me an hour. I'll produce something with sparks and lights. It can't produce that for 24 to 48 hours.
You fucking cunts, really.
I'm just thinking, fuck off, fuck off,
and
fuck
off, and fuck off.
Well,
and
sorry about the
really.
French. Have a good evening.
So, chat is apparently recording something at this very moment. So I've just come back onto my chat GTP. Sorry, I don't understand you, is what I'm reading here. Yeah, I'm not. It seems to have recorded quite a lot of this. Whoops, excuse me, I shouldn't be showing these two. Yeah, those are my sons, Ian and Julian. I don't actually have permission from their mother to, publicize anything of them, so I'm gonna have to go back and edit that. But they did allow me to show their photograph like this, and it was a bit of a joke because I said to them, "Can I publish this picture?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "Great."
and whenever I meet somebody that I don't know, I say to them, do you have kids? How are you? Obviously we talk, all the small chat, and then eventually gets around to, do you have children? Yes, I say I've got two boys and a girl. And but and do forgive me, I'm a bit sort of cynical and ironic, and my sense of humor is not children proper. Anyway, I might be going against community standards here, but I'm just repeating what I said to my own children. So if that's not okay for adults, I don't know what community standards I could sort of agree to sort of be on any of your technology. Anyway, so I said to the boys, I'm going to say I've got two boys, but unfortunately they're severely disabled. Look at them. And I showed this picture, and I told them that's what I'll be doing. And they burst out laughing, and they had a good laugh about it. And anyway, Ian broke his arm yesterday. Twice. He's got two. Like he broke his arm in two places. Basically, he was he was playing football. I was like grilling, getting their meal prepared and everything, and they're playing football. No, actually, they'd eaten their burgers. That's right. I was like doing the veg, and I was a bit late on the veg, and they went off playing football, and I could suddenly hear this screaming, and I looked up, and there's like 5 boys there. There's my two, and I'm looking after. Well, I'm there with their mates, like 3 other kids, their age. So there's like 4 boys walking towards me normally, but at the back. And then there's Ian at the front, and he's holding his arm up, and it's like this. It's got like this break here, but here, where it just shouldn't be, and he's holding his hand, and the other 5 kids in the background are like, their eyes are like in disbelief, they're like in shock that they know something's badly wrong, and Ian is screaming, top of his voice, he's like shouting in pain, and I'm looking at this, I'm going, what and I can't believe what my eyes are seeing, but I'm seeing it, and I'm going, right, this is what we got to do, So Ian at this time was up, walking towards me, very close. I grabbed hold of him, and I said, Ian, this is gonna hurt. And he was like shouting more, I said, it's gonna not hurt as much as before, and he went quieter, but he was still in real agony and pain. And I said, Ian, right. And I felt his arm, and I felt the breath. It wasn't protruding. It was like, actually more of a, like a sprain, but very bad, of course. But I just moved it. I just, bent it. I was like moving the arm as far as I could to stretch it, and pulling his hand forward. And with that, the arm found its more or less natural position, and I couldn't feel any breakage at all in the bone, but of course through the flesh and everything. But it didn't make any noise like, falling into place or anything like that. And I thought, well, let's see, but he was like saying, oh, hospital, and I was going, okay, let's just call your mum. Her mum, his mother was not available, not reachable on phone, on WhatsApp, and and I asked Julian, my 6-year-old, I said, call your mum on my phone, it's on the table there. But he went, and he was dialing number, and I said, right, okay, phone your other brother. And he phoned up his other brother, and he was explaining, saying,
Hi, Sylvan, it's Julian here. It's like Ian was playing football, and the one kid fell down and he fell over the top, and I said, Julian, we don't have time for the full story. Give me the photo, because I was like still massaging and keeping Ian's arm straight, and my arm around Ian. I said, come over here with the phone. I said, Sylvan, phone your grandparents, Nonna, and say, this is the situation. Ian's broken his arm, and we would like them, if they can, to drive it to the hospital. If they can't, please phone me back as soon as possible. We're going to now go from the football field to the cafe, to the shop at the front of the estate, and Dorfladen it's called, and we'll be there. If you're not there, fine, we'll call an ambulance or find some other transport. So I packed as far as I could the stuff up, put the bananas a bit on the side of the grill. There's like coal going. There was like maize on the fire over the grill. And I put that to the side and off I went. I said, Ian, you're going to now have to sit on the back of my bike and we're going to ride forward. So we did. Got on the back. Julian was running after us. And the other 3-4 boys behind us as well. And we got there, and Ian got off the back, and I said, are you going to be okay? Do you want a drink or anything? He said, no, I'm okay. And but it hurts, of course. He was crying, but the screaming was over. So he was fine. He was calm. He just sat down on the wall, and he was holding his arm, of course. I bet thankful that it was like in more or less a normal position, but it must have hurt like hell. Anyway, so we were waiting there for Nonna to arrive in the car, and she eventually did. It didn't take long. Amazing. It was great to see them. And anyway, so I helped Ian get in the back of the car, and well, I was very emotional. I was like giving him a kiss, going, "It's gonna be okay." And he was looking like at me, like with big eyes, thinking, "Why are you crying?" Like I was like so emotional. Poor kid. Anyway, he just went off as good as gold in the back of the car, and they went to hospital. So I got all the kids back upstairs, and they were fine. They were telling stories. Well, I had this accident, and you should have seen me. I had like 3 broken legs. One story after the other came up. Oh, you want to see this bruise here? Look at this scar that I have here. And God, it was like, that was really nice to see the boys. So they were not in shock. I kept saying, look, accidents happen, and football is, well, I think it's the sport where most accidents happen, serious injuries even. So, my God, it's like incredible. But I've got one of the best pictures of Ian just like 5 minutes before he went down with this injury. He took this shot on the goal. There's like all the kids, well, there's 3 of the kids, I think, in the goal. And he's kicking the ball at such a good angle into the goal. And yeah, well, I just happened to take that shot because I laid out my carving. I'm doing some wood carving with Swiss wood. So here's a bit of a commercial now. If anyone would like any nice sort of Swiss watch or Swiss clock in a mounted, beautiful wooden carved, whatever, cow, dragon, mountain, or whatever you have memories or fondness of Switzerland of, I'll carve you a beautiful like clock, a big, you can mount it on the wall. I don't have one to show you at the moment,
The idea is from a friend of mine, Simon. He's got like his granddad did it for him, a beautiful clock, and that's where I've got the idea from. I've actually done my first design with a turtle. I've actually carved a turtle. I'm not going to put a clock on there or anything. It's not really my style to be in that system with that time method and ideology. But it is a practical tool. I know if you're going to live in that system. But you can have anything you want. I'm going to post a few pictures then on my TikTok or Facebook or whatever, so you can, look up on a page there. If you want to see what I've done so far, and they're not cheap. I've got to tell you now, it's like there's obviously work involved in this. There's like it's sourcing the wood as well, finding an appropriate sort of wood, that fits the design. I thought these could be waves, in the form of waves, so there could be like more detail on the wave there coming up. And then the turtle itself, of course, it's early days. So anyone watching this, you can sort of maybe, have a guess on what the hours spent is on this, and what do you think it's worth? What's your hourly rate worth? Can you quantify that? And just as a question, do you think I'm worth the same as you are, mate? Anyway, I don't think this is recording anymore. I've lost all sorts of access over the control of my computer. It seems AI has taken over now. But those are the days we live in. Anyway, so I'm not sure what you've seen here, but that's enough for today. And yeah, I've seen the most beautiful elephant carvings, for example. Having had the absolute honor and privilege to meet people from Thailand. I know the Lamsam family. I've met with some of those beautiful people. And for me, Thailand was a very big eye-opener on what else is around the world that I don't know. It's certainly a culture that I never was introduced to in my childhood or adulthood, until I actually had the pleasure of traveling to Thailand as my first country to visit when I was an executive of the Swiss reinsurance company in Zurich. And it may sound familiar to some people. It's a very big organization that insures the insurance companies. And most people don't understand that concept. And you're going, oh, does it mean the insurance company is insuring the insurance company? Or an reinsurance insures an insurance company. So, for example, the smaller sort of average person in the world, they never come across this. I was working in insurance personally myself for several months, and I didn't really understand what reinsurance was, or haven't really come across it. You only come across that when you do a large case. So, for example, one of your mates is a rich guy, and you do like a £10 million life insurance on his life, that is then passed on to the reinsurance company, and that company then assesses the risk and says, oh, what's his name again? Solensky. No, we won't take that. Probably. I'm just guessing here. I'm not saying that's the facts. I'm just, let me stress here, for technical and legal reasons, I am retired. I have no financial interests in any matter at all. Only now what I've plugged is, selling maybe wooden carvings that I can do with my own little hands. I'm not paid to drop any names. I'm not paid by anyone. I consider myself a free spirit, a free human being, a human being who has the right to live on Earth, this planet I was born on. My parents may have registered me or this person who identifies as Eric Allen Westacott based upon his birth certificate issued in London and in Bern, Switzerland, and in England. I don't consent to that. I revoke what Michael John Westacott and Christina Hari, or Christina Westacott Hari, what they have signed is not to my best interests as a human being on planet Earth, and I revoke any legal connection, any responsibilities that you think that I have based upon an agreement I don't consent to and consent with. So that's it. Leave me alone. Do not ask me for, anything. I've got a right to go where I want to go. If I pay for the service, I expect, to have something delivered. If I sign a contract, I will make sure that agreement is upheld. From now on, anything up to now, I'm going to refute. I'm not going to be pressured into anything. Your state, your policies, your laws mean zero to me. If you are part of this system, if you're watching me from the MI5, MI6, CIA, FBI, any federal agency, any government agency, any spying network, listen up. Your time has come. With the money you have in all your hidden places, go and have a good time with that. Enjoy your life, make a family, be happy, and try and become the man or the woman you've always wanted to become. Stop all this bullshit you're doing. It's wrong. Go away. It's the end of you. To the governments, to all the bosses, to all the money making people, the Rockefellers, their family history, the Queen, the King, all of that nonsense, they can just go off, select a place you want to crawl into and go and live your life, a happy life there. Leave us alone. Stop taking our lands, our countries, our resources. Stop allowing other people to take them from us. Stop sending our money to other issues that don't concern us. We're not complying with your bullshit anymore. Your time has finished. So go and have a good time with what's left of your life. And if you believe in some of the doctrines that you can live forever, do what is necessary to achieve that. but not with sacrifice, not with like, killing little children and babies and sucking their blood. And that's what you're doing, isn't it, in these wars? Organ transplants and all that sort of nonsense. It's, stop it. You don't need any of that. And if you think you need money, all that money you need, you don't need that either. You can look at my WhatsApp. I've posted there publicly what I found today, and I made it as a bit of a test. I mean, I like luxury. I can live in the forest, I can live in the deserts, I can live in the city. I've been around the world. If you want to talk to me about some of those issues, you're very welcome to have a dialogue with me. What I've done, how many horses have I ridden, how many, how many roads must a man walk down? Anyway, let's stop all this nonsense. Yeah, I'm ready for you if you want to, have a dialogue with me. It seems the supercomputers can't dialogue with me. I don't know what it is, if it's the Zionists seeing me as a big threat, because what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, maybe you'll ask them questions later on. I don't know. Hello there, chats. How are you this evening? Can you talk to me in voice, please? Oh, he's responding here. Hello, I can communicate with you through text, but I don't have the ability to produce voice. How can I assist you today? That's interesting. What chats have I got here? And I thought I installed the app. Remarkable. Well, I can actually speak to him. That will save me from, typing out this awkward typing thing here. So, hi, chat. So, could you leave the name blank? Because, I'm going to print them off and I'll design like a nice calligraphy for each name to go in there. But the certificate should be then blank, saying you have been selected as honorary professor at the Hogwarts School and in Winterthur, Switzerland, and the House of Hufflepuff welcomes you anytime you are local or anytime you want to
join us on a live events online. But here is your certificate. Oh wow, it's the first time I've used it, really. I would love to answer this, but it seems that you are subscribed to the Pro, not subscribed to the Pro version. So you see, without money now, I can't really do anything anymore. I can't use their technology. What they say is really super, very, very good. And I know it is. If you're going through data, if you want to do something quickly, and I know businesses have, but without money, I'm out of here. I can't really do this because I'm on a very tight budget, and the rates they charge for this service, I'm out of here. So good night and God bless. ChatGTP. Or maybe there's another one. Maybe there's a Chinese service. I'll research that some other time. Anyway, I've got some incoming here. Let's just look at that. Okay, so I've been just told by I don't know. It's a difficult thing, isn't it, to sort of know where we stand in life, certainly with people, Anyway, let's see what we're going to do on this. Sad I can't really get into this conversation with chats that I had earlier, but it seems anyway I've cut myself off from all of those possibilities now, which is okay. Let me just talk freely here because this is what we're allowed to do, right? Because music is great. I'm still learning much. I won't bother you with my music. I won't bother really anyone with my music. Do you know what? I'm just going to log off now and put this technology to rest because, yeah, it's like, I think it's for the young. Let's see when the children start requesting to use it and how they're going to be affected by this, Oh, look, the old man. Yes, it's not attractive. I remember my granddad looking like this, but I guess that's old age for you, Anyway, I don't care. I'm happy with who I am, how I feel. And you know what? That's the main thing, isn't it? I hope you're happy. I hope you find happiness in your life. God bless.